Libra, and Happy New Year to you. Welcome to your weekly tarot reading. This will be from the 8th to the 15th of January. And before I start, Libra, you seem to have there's quite a bit of confusion going on here. Okay, so for some of you watching, that might not come as any surprise. You've got 4 very, very powerful major arcanas, which always sort of point to deeper resolutions happening than what might appear on the surface level, okay? It points to deeper lessons being learned. What I noticed, at the bottom of the deck, you've got the 2 of Wands, but in reverse, okay? So upright, there's a bit of confusion about the next step in your life, okay? You've had that typical fork in the road and you're not sure what comes next, okay? Because there's definitely a feeling around that, but for some reason it's came up that way. And I'm not quite sure why. But we'll carry on with the reading and see how it transpires. Your crowning card is a beautiful Empress card. The Empress card is about love, family, housing, prosperity. She often represents your foundations in life. So maybe that's where the confusion's coming from. Maybe for some of you, there's confusion around family or abundance issues, prosperity issues and housing issues. There's definitely a little bit of a confusing picture here. Now, your additional guidance card is the Observer card. So when the Observer card, because you're an air sign, Libra, exactly like me, and I know that you rule the heart, but you're still an air sign, which is basically asking you to be a little bit detached from what's going on emotionally for you, because the Observer tends to point to the spiritual eye, which is basically trying to get the bigger picture. So not becoming overly involved with whatever emotions are whatever emotions are happening for you this week, Libra, okay? Because there's definitely some emotional confusion, because you start the week with the 7 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. So the 5 of Cups very often points to some sort of emotional disappointment. It's quite often called the grief card. There's quite often some loss attached to it. But don't forget, with the 5 of Cups, there's 2 new cups behind you, but for some reason, Libra, this feeling of focusing on what you haven't got, what's not gone right in your life is around you. It's part of the process. You have to feel what you have to feel, but try not don't build a house there, okay? Because we have to feel stuff, but you don't have to build your whole identity around this 5 of Cups. It comes with the 7 of Cups. So again, there's vagueness and there's confusion. But because of that 2 of Wands, this came up in reverse, there's a part of me saying, is this just part of the process you're going through, Libra? And you have more clarity than you think you have? Okay, this is where the confusion steps in, because right after this comes the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups tends to speak to, it's got loads of different meanings, okay? But it does tend to speak to me of some emotional victory. So maybe you've overcame things. I want you to look at this card, okay? So this is a knight who's been through the forest and the jungle, and he's had some difficult emotional experiences, but he's came out and he's won the day. So something's been overcame here. This is either going to play out in your relationships. This could be a person, or you've worked through this confusion and this disappointment, and you've not become too trapped there. So you're progressing, okay? You won, basically, is what the Knight of Cups is saying. You've overcame something. It's with the Eight of Discs. So the Eight of Discs is a work card, working through the night. It can be a craftsman's card, but it's focusing on your material place in this world, Libra, okay? So whatever that 5 and that 7 is, by becoming the observer, you're not becoming so overly involved that it's taking all your energy. You're moving forward, you're being this emotional winner, whatever that means, and you're focusing on your work. The Empress as a crowning card, remember, is this energy that's looking up, that's looking out for you, Libra. So you're sort of quite protected by this beautiful Empress energy. The feeling of confusion does continue, because you get the Moon card, which tends to be confusion, because just think about it, it represents nighttime. So in the sun we have illumination and clarity, and in the night we're in the sense of unknown, but basically the unknown is the mystery, Libra, and we either learn to trust that mystery or we don't. But by learning to trust that mystery, our life begins to change, because we develop a more loving relationship with the universe. And I think that's what the Empress is saying, okay? Just a thought, because this Moon card comes with a Death card. So, you know, there's no way around it. Some Librans might be having a bereavement this week, okay? There might be grief over some loss, okay? It could be a family member. There could be changes around the family, okay? But the Death card is evolution of your soul, okay? It comes when there's growth required. And I think for some Librans, you've been asked to grow outside of your comfort zone, because the Moon represents our comfort zone. It's our conditioning. It's because even though the Moon card can sometimes be challenging, it's what we know. And as human beings, we cling to what we know. But you're being asked to evolve here. And I think also sort of let go, because the Magician turns up next. Now, to access the power of the Magician, you need to be an empty vessel. So what I mean by that is, if you have a cup of coffee, you can't pour more into it. The vessel needs to be empty to be able to receive this divine power that's working through, okay? You can see it comes right through your crown chakra, out through your hands. But before we can get this power, there needs to be a letting go. And I don't know, there might be some, if any of you are going through a bereavement, you know, I'm really, really sorry. But for others, this is about purging your old emotions. And by becoming the observer, it's almost, what am I trying to say? By becoming the observer, we learn to clear our emotional bodies. We learn to clear out our lives. We learn to let go of the past, to be in the present moment. And that's how we learn to access the power of the Magician, to have a new life, to manifest. Because we have to be able to receive it, okay? It's with the 5 of Wands. I want to pull you another card, Libra. If I could, where's my tarot? Give me 1 minute. The 5 of Wands is still a bit of push and pull, okay? Heart and head going in different directions, which is really, really normal when we're letting go. Even if we're letting go of things that we want to let go of, it's human nature to hold on, and it's human nature to hold on to that which is comfortable. I want to pull you another card. Give me a minute, guys. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles, which is slow movement towards a goal. Again, a bit like the Empress, very earth element, very quite abundant, quite grounded and quite real, okay? So maybe some Librans are moving house, okay, definitely. They're leaving one house behind, one neighbourhood behind, and moving forward to a new beginning. Because of that Empress is the energy that's overlooking you, Libra. It's like you've been over, there's love protecting you, okay? Definitely family, love, but there's emotional issues to be purged. That's what the Observer card does, because once we become a tiny little bit detached, then the universe can take over and we don't become overly identified with our emotional issues, and they clear much quicker and we work through them much quicker, because then you're moving to the Fool card, okay? That's what I'm getting a strange feeling, Libra. There's something really deep happening, for one thing. But for you who've actually had a bereavement again, but for others, this seems to be a really deep transformation process, and you're going back to the Fool. This is going home, spiritually going home to your own true self. But to get there, we need to let go of whatever we're holding on to. And I honestly, Libra, I know how hard it is. Fascinating reading, okay? There's definitely forward motion, and you've got quite a hugely spiritual week, Libra, okay? You can always let me know how this is playing out. I'm quite intrigued by what's going on for you, Libra, and loads of love. Bye.